anticipation.
It's gotta be good.
If I get thrown out, I'll go live with my mom.
Mama, get off the males.
Welcome to the Real Estate and Chill podcast, the newest and coolest podcast. So tune in. Two experts discussing the real estate market. Loan officer James Choudhury and associate real estate broker Kevin Iglesias. Beware, this is not another boring podcast. This right here is the shit you need to hear. Respectfully.
Welcome back to the Real Estate and Chill podcast. I'm your host, James Choudhury from United Mortgage, here with
Kevin Iglesias, associate broker. If this is your first time with us, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and the notification bell.
Why? Why should I subscribe to Real Estate and Chill?
I mean, why not? We give out free real estate knowledge to consumers, buyers, real estate agents, real estate professionals. Make sure you hit the subscribe button.
every single week.
Let's go!
All right, well, thank you, Julius, for interrupting our set. But today, we have a long-awaited episode. We've been talking about this for a while, and we thought it was finally time.
Yes, a mindset episode.
Yes. So what are we talking about?
Anything and everything to get your mind right.
I took, a few things that, motivate me, and you have as well, and we just want to share with everybody. So starting off with, why do you need an important mindset?
Mindset is the key to success. You know what I mean? Because if your mindset is not where it needs to be, how do you expect to achieve everything you want to achieve?
I think mindset's the most important part of what we do because there's so many different aspects to real estate, to the mortgage side of it, to so many different things. It's ups and downs. It's not continuous a trajectory, uphill. We go through a lot of stress. We go through a lot of obstacles in our career. And to make sure that you know that you can handle all the things that are coming at you, that's important,
And I just think in life in general, too, you just have to have the correct mindset. You know what I mean? Before I go list to an appointment or when I'm speaking to somebody on the phone, I'm talking to them like they're a client of mine, I put myself in that mindset I'm going to be representing this person. I'm working for this person. And when I go to a listing appointment, I never go there thinking I'm not going to get this. I go there with the confidence this listing's already mine. I just got to get them to autograph these papers.
Right. I think that if you're a new agent, the thing is sometimes new agents think, all right, I'm going to start real estate. I'm going to have 100 listings my first year. It's not like that whatsoever. The thing is, when you first start off, you got to dream big, start small, act now. That's the biggest thing. Dream big, whatever you want to accomplish, you will accomplish it. Start small, start by doing and picking up habits that you need in order to get to that point, and act now. Start right away. Don't wait to do what you want to do. Start right away. And that's the biggest thing. Fear is taking people away from their dreams and what they want to do. You just got to get past that and just start right away.
Look, fear is going to do two things, right? Fear is either going to hold you back from everything you want to achieve, and you're going to doubt yourself and everything that you do, or fear is either going to motivate you and be like, you know what, I can't fail. And again, everybody fails in every profession, right? Any goal that you have in mind, people fail. But the point is you don't stop when you fail. You get back up and you keep pursuing that goal.
I think a big thing that people are fearful of are the fact that we're commission-based, right? You don't have a set salary coming in every single month that's going to pay for your bills. You don't know when, this deal is going to close, and then you can use that money to pay for whatever bills that you have, right? And the lending side of it, you may not even get paid until weeks after a deal closes. So
same thing here in the real estate side. You don't get paid until the deal closes. We're talking about 45, 60 days, sometimes even more.
Yeah.
If there's something that's, going wrong or the seller doesn't want to close until 4, 5, 6 months, it happens.
Right.
How do you prepare yourself for that? Somebody what should somebody expect on the loan-wise side, on the mortgage side?
In terms of when they're
being paid, what do you say? Should you have a cushion? Should you have a part-time job? Should you dive in full-time? What do you think?
I mean, for me,
opinion.
This was my first thing. I never had a side gig or anything like that. And when I first started off, it was, I'm talking from an angle where I didn't necessarily have to make money because I was still in school and it wasn't expected of me to do, but I was still doing it because I don't care what people expect of me or not. If somebody's a little bit older, if they're, in their 20s and their 30s, if they have a house, if they have to pay rent and stuff, it's tough in the beginning. you can do a lot of different things to get money before a deal closes. Like, sometimes people start off with salaries. Sometimes people can, be a connector where they're basically like, let's say, for example, you have a client and you want me to work on it, right? I'm your person that you work with, and I have somebody else to fill out the 1003, request documents from them. As that deal goes forward and as they're learning with me, they're still getting paid on the deal as a connector, or as a sales assistant to, whatever they're doing. They don't have to worry about all their commission that they're making on their personal deals. They'll still make money on our deal. You know what I mean? So that's something that they can do. Ask around your office, see if there's somebody who is in a position where you want to be in and you want to be, helping them with whatever they're doing. You'll learn in the process. You'll make some money coming in. And as you're doing that, you're going to be building up your own business where you can actually, get those deals for yourself. So that's something that I would recommend to anybody at any age who's getting started in the business who might need that money coming in.
Yeah, I mean, like I dived in full time. I didn't have a plan B, so I was like, I'm giving this my all. Like this is either going to work or it's not going to work, but I'm giving it 1,000% to make sure that it works. And again, there's with anything in life, there's always ups and downs. There's obstacles you got to face. There's things you have to overcome. But once you give everything your all, it's like how you gonna fail? You're gonna fail, but you're not gonna let yourself fail. You're gonna pick yourself back up and keep going.
Yeah, the fear of that needs to drive you to be like, all right, this deal's not closing right now. Like I need it to close right now because I need to get paid and I need to pay rent or something like that, or I need to pay my mortgage, or I need to pay for bills that are coming in, right? Like the average American has, I think it was $400 or $1,500 in savings. The average American, that's 1 month's rent. In some places,
it's not a lot.
That's the average of our country, and you can't live like that. You know what I mean? Like that's not something you can do. You need to be far beyond that. You need to have money saved up. In our industry, if there's a situation where you don't have a closing right away, you can't max out your credit cards. Like credit cards, I've learned are like, yeah, you need the points, whatever. It's better to pay things off that way. But like what I do, if I'm using my credit card or something, I pay that off right away. Like I don't have credit card debt. Like I refuse to have any credit card debt or anything like that. I use my credit card to pay for something, and then I transfer the money and pay it off like every week or whatever. I never spend more money than I have in my savings account. And the thing is, like with me, I don't keep my money in my savings account or anything like that. I have investments. I have things like that I dish money out of. If I have $500 in my savings account, that's all I have. Like I don't, like that money is gone. Like that money is not in my pocket anymore. So whatever I have in my savings account, that's all I can spend. Obviously I was using $500 as just like an example, but like, that's all I'm spending. But what I do also have is I have an emergency fund for, I have 6 months. Everyone should try to have this as well. 6 months of, what your living expenses are. You need to just have that saved away, because when COVID happened, what happened? We didn't expect that. You know what I mean? People needed to have monthly expenses in their account, because how many realtors were selling houses when COVID first hit? How many deals just got completely wiped off and buyers and sellers were completely off the board, right? And how many months did that happen?
What's crazy though is when COVID hit, that was my best year in real estate. That fear, like you were talking about before, is when my back was against the wall, and I was like, I'm not gonna let this hold me back, and I'm not gonna let anything hold me back, because again, we're commission based, right?
Right.
There's no pension, there's no retirement fund. I mean, you can make investments into 401ks and IRAs and things like that, but there's no brokerage that's gonna offer you that, right?
Right.
So you have to basically hustle. If you're not hustling, you're not making any money.
Right.
And at that point, I was like, all right, I got to re-strategize. I got to think of further down the line. I had a cushion too. I think we all should have a cushion that we could fall back on. But when you first get started in this business and you're literally just jumping in and you have no cushion, that's when you really have to put your, pedal to the metal and give it literally all gas, no brakes, because it all depends on you. There's literally nobody who's going to be waking you up saying, hey, you got to get up. You got to go, prospect. You got to go make calls. You got to go door knock. It's literally just all depends on you. And if you're not putting in the work, if you're not learning the business, and the more you learn, the more you earn. Right. The more you get educated on loans and houses and inspections and appraisals and everything about the business, the more money you're gonna make.
Right. You got to know your product. Like whatever you're selling, if you don't know your product, how confident does that make you? You know what I
can't,
mean?
and I tell people this all the time. What's real estate or it's not real estate. You cannot sell a product you're not educated in. You
Right.
know, 'cause once people ask you questions, it's like, what are you gonna say to them?
Exactly. Like, if you don't know, like, for example, from my side, if you don't know the difference between FHA and conventional, and a client asks you for that, and you have no idea what it is, why would they work with you? Like, they would have no incentive to work with you. I get that there's questions, like guideline questions, things like that. Like, we have support teams for that reason because nobody knows everything.
Right.
But you have to know, like, the ins and outs of what you're doing, or else you're not the best person to work with that client.
No. And again, once you have that confidence and that experience and that knowledge blended in, you're gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
Right.
I mean, I've gotten listings in the beginning of my career just off confidence alone. Had no idea what I was doing. My first listing, I had no idea what I was doing, but I was so hungry and so eager to get that listing that I was like, I'm gonna make this work by any means.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the guy was super confident in me. He never asked me how many houses I sold. That was literally my first listing. It was the easiest thing. I walked in there. He had 2 beers open. He said, all right, let's sign. He's like, you want a beer? Chatted for a little bit, signed the papers, and I was out. And I was like, great. What do I do next? But I was so confident, and I was just so persistent. In this business, you got to be persistent. You got to be resilient. You got to just have that that hunger. You know what I mean?
You got to be able to act.
100%. 100%. I mean, and we met off a cold call, and I do a lot of cold calls. You know, our last episode with Ken Purdy, he said, you know, cold calling is a whole different animal. You literally have to convince somebody over the phone, off of the way your voice sounds,
Right,
to meet with you. They don't know you. They're not looking at you. It's different from door knocking and banging on the door, and they're seeing you, and they see how you carry yourself. This is literally just a phone call, and I think that's what really just it gives me that rush, like that adrenaline rush, like that excitement of just locking in somebody over the phone. You ever see Wolf of Wall Street when they're just like pitching somebody over the phone and they all go crazy? Like that's the same thing that I think about nonstop.
You know what's funny? Like, so, you know Pat. For everyone who might not know who Pat is my junior loan officer who I work with, longtime friend of mine. And when he first started in the industry, literally just told him, I was like, this is what I did to start. This is what you got to do to start. Like, this is the best thing for you. And he was doing it. And then, like, I don't, like, really cold call agents anymore because I'm focusing on the business I have at the moment. But, like, when I did it, I just hopped back on the phones, and I literally only called 10 people, right? I called 10 agents. And out of those 10 agents, one agent didn't want to work with me. And then because they already had people lined up, the other 5 opened in conversations, and then 4 didn't pick up. That was the first time I touched the phone in, like, months or years. I don't even know the last time I actually cold call agents. So, like, you get the experience, you get better over time. And if you're first starting off, you're going to suck, like, for real. Like, it's all experience. Like, you just got to get better at it through repetition. You might be natural, like, it might be something that you're good at right away, but you're not going to, if you're really good right away, that's a great thing because that means you're going to get even better. So you want to be the best version of yourself when you're on the phones, and you're going to learn that through time. So your first call, even if you suck, like, don't worry about it. You can get better at it because sales is not all natural. It's, it's very teachable too.
It's very teachable, and people have to stop comparing themselves to everybody else,
right?
Because that's the major thing that destroys everybody, right? They're like, oh, I'm comparing myself to this person. I think that's one negative about social media, right? Because social media is literally like a highlight reel. Everybody's winning, everybody's making money, everybody's happy on social media. So everybody's literally comparing their success to somebody else's success. When there's some people there's no mistake. Some people are born to do this. Like, some people are just natural born salespeople. They can sell literally anything. And some people, it just takes a little bit more time for them to get the hang of it. But you have to stop comparing yourself. And that's one thing that I can say is not being on social media for all those years. I wasn't comparing myself literally to nobody.
Yeah.
I had nobody to compare myself to. And I still don't, because I really don't care what so-and-so is doing. Or I'm not focused on that. The main thing I'm focused on is bettering myself and focusing on my team, and literally that's it. Like, anything else, cool. I'm not focused on it. But not being on social media just made me, like, just hungrier, because I was just focused on my sales. I was focused on my numbers. I was focusing on making more money every year and out-competing myself every quarter, right? Because once it's a new year or it's a new quarter, it's like you're starting basically from fresh again, from zero. So it's like you just have to continue to have that hunger in you. And if not, you're gonna fall behind.
I completely agree. I think that, when you look at every single person individually, you got to also realize that even when you're starting off, you're one step away from being replaced straight off the bat. Like when you
100%.
first start, you should be the most motivated person and the hungriest person in the world because you haven't proved a thing and nobody knows anything about you, and you could be replaced just like that. So just realize that when you first start off, you're replaceable. Like even today, like no matter who you are, what you're doing, if I talk to a client and somebody else talks to a client, I could be replaced in an instant if I'm not on top of my game all the time. And that's a give and take that comes with this industry because you are, you don't have a cap to how much you can make, but you got to be on top of your game every single second of the day. Like you're not picking up on a Saturday, like afternoon when, a client comes to your open house and like a realtor calls you and says, oh, I need to get this person pre-approved. I need to have a conversation with them. You're not picking up those calls. All right, cool. Somebody else will. You're replaceable just like that. You can't show up to a listing appointment. All right, he'll find somebody else who can. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is. You always have to be on top of your game, and you always have to have that mindset that if I'm not doing everything to my best ability all the time, then what am I doing here? I'm not gonna make it. Like that's just what it is.
It's clear, black and white. If there's doubts in your mind and you're just making excuses of why you can't do things or you don't have enough time, it's literally all excuses. That's all it is. You're
Right.
basically holding yourself back from achieving what you want to achieve because the fear is too strong. And once you let go of that fear and you learn to overcome it and use that fear to your benefit and say, you know what, the fear of failing is motivating me more than the fear, there's nothing that's going to hold you back.
I think another big thing is that right now people think that what we do, like outside perspective, might think, oh, what we do is easy. Oh, yeah, you just like show up to a house and they sign papers and then you just stand there at the open house and like that's not what this is whatsoever.
No.
People think it's so easy, but it's the complete opposite. Like this is a very, very difficult industry, a very stressful industry. And, everybody who's in this industry who's not even doing well, but just attempting to be, a monster in this industry deserves a round of applause because they're putting up with things that other people aren't dealing with every single day. And there's so many different obstacles that come with this industry.
Some people are so focused and they want the praise, they want the awards. They think that it's easy. Nothing in real estate happens overnight. Like this is complete grind 24/7. It's just sacrifice. I mean, I've had to make a lot of sacrifices on time with spending with family, friends, and just focusing on the business. Because at the end of the day, this is your business, right? It's your brand. And you have to build this up so that you keep getting referral business and you keep like, oh, Kevin went above and beyond for me and he was there for me. And he, I called him at 11 o'clock and he answered the phone. Or anytime that I called him, he answered the phone and he was always there and he helped me and he made the process so smooth. Given that not every deal is the same, right? A lot of obstacles happen that you don't see on TV that's why people think the business is easy, which is not. But you just have to be self-motivated. It's the biggest thing. Right? People are like, oh, I can't wait to get into real estate because I'm my own boss and I'll make my own hours. That's completely false. Right? We work on other people's time.
Yeah, we do not. We do not make our own hours.
No.
You could pick, but you're really like if you're gonna be successful, you're gonna pick the times that other people are available.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I thought the same thing, and then I realized really quick. It's like I'm not making my own hours. I'm working on other people's time. It's a little bit more flexible. But it's not me, making my own hours.
You have the freedom to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But it's a no-brainer. You're going to make yourself available for exactly what you're saying.
And the hardest thing for me was, going to a 9-to-5 job. It's like, all right, this is your schedule. This is where you're going to get paid weekly or bi-weekly, and this is how much you're going to make. Once I left that, it was like nobody's waking me up. Nobody's telling me to go to work.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling me to go prospect, knock on doors, to make calls. It literally all depends on you. Right? And I think that was one of the hardest things for me to adjust to because once I let that sink in, I was like, all right, I'm not going to let myself fail. And I just really have to give this my all to really succeed. I wasn't worried about, again, competing with anybody, right? I was just mainly focused on I have to do better for myself and get myself out of a situation that I don't want to be in. Granted, I was living at my mother's house. I was in the basement. And then I literally had to go to a room sleeping on a mattress. And I was like, yo, I'm not being here for the rest of my life. Like, I don't want to have that thought in the back of my head years later. It's like, damn, I could have been something, if I just really focused and I didn't let the fear get to me. I didn't want to have that regret. You
Right.
know me, like when I say something I'm gonna do, I'll do it. I'm doing it
100%.
100%.
I don't have to think twice. Like I know,
Yeah.
I know every time you say something, I know you're gonna do it.
And that's just getting into that mindset. Now you see me on my Instagram stories. I'm waking up at 5, 6 in the morning. I'm working out, putting an hour of work, in, and or 2 hours of work in. Bro, before I was not a morning person whatsoever. But I just started to realize, like, all right, the business is growing. I got kids now. I got a wife now. I got bills to pay. Mortgages, other investments. It's like I have to get up earlier, and I have to, make my time work for me. And I can't keep getting up at, certain hours of the day because I just have so much to accomplish. It's just,
Right.
it's not adding up.
Right. I totally agree. I think that some things that, make us shine bright is the fact that whenever there are obstacles or there are tough times, like we're paid for that. Like that's what we're here for. How rarely do you see a deal go by like super smoothly? Like it happens obviously, but like how rarely? Like, you know what I mean? Like deals like usually have some sort of issues or things like that. And the thing is like that's why we get paid to do what we do because we have the experience, we have the knowledge to take care of that situation. So if it's a simple deal where anybody can do it, then why are they paying you? Like they could pay anybody they want in the world, but they're coming to you for a reason. So it's always important to realize that the problems that are going on, they're a good thing. That's why you make money. And every single time that you have a problem or things like that, there's a difficult situation, whatever you learn from that will make you shine so bright. Like how many deals have we done where there have been like very difficult deals? If I pull through on them, that makes me look better to you. You know what I mean? Like you trust me even that much more to get the next deal done. And that's from a lender perspective. Like you don't want to say, you want hard deals because obviously like all the hard deals in the world, like they're stressful, like they cause you a lot of stress, whatever. But whenever you have those deals, they're good for you because you're going to learn so much. You're going to gain so much respect for it. And you're just going to gain so much experience from it. So embrace the problems. Like there are no roses without rain, right? So.
And look, this business is not for everybody. That's why the failure rate is so high. It's literally 87% in the first year of real estate. So many people fail and drop out, and then they don't do it again. I remember I went to an event with my wife. We weren't married at the time, but the lady was like, "Oh, I heard you're in real estate," and she was like, "Good luck." I did it for 6 months, and then I quit. It just wasn't for me. And literally everybody that I spoke to was literally just people just in my ear, like, "All right, good luck." Oh, that's commission based, and how you gonna survive, and how you gonna pay the bills? And I was just like, "Yo, I'm not gonna let myself fail. And if I fail, it's part of the process. It's part of the success. And I know I'll get there.
Yeah.
So it's just you have to give it your all, and you have to just change your mindset. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I can't do this. I suck." You do suck because your mindset sucks. Once you change your mindset, the world is yours. There's no ceiling in this business. Like, literally, you could walk down the block and knock on a few doors. Two people could be like, "Yeah, I want to sell. Those houses are worth $550 and up." You're making over $20,000-$30,000 in commission.
Yeah.
Like there's literally no cap. There's nobody holding you back saying, "No, you can't make over $100,000 a year, or you can't make over $100,000 in 3 months." There's literally, you can make as much money as you want to make, as long as you have that hunger and that drive in you.
I saw this one thing that I forgot who said it, but it was something along the lines of, say for example, your conversion rate is 1 out of 100. Like if you knew that 1 out of 100 people that you door knock for or you cold call will say yes, how quickly are you going to burn through the 99 people that are going to say no just to get to that one person? And that stuck with me a lot because not everyone's going to say yes to you. Not every single client you speak to is going to say, they want to work with you or whatever the case may be. But when you get past the point where, you're blowing past the people who are going to say no and just keep getting to the yeses, and, over that time, every single time somebody says no to you, you're going to gain something. You're going to learn something to make the next person say yes. Your conversion rate goes up. It goes from 1% to 5%, right? Then 95 people say no. You blow past them again. And then out of those 95, the next time will be like 10 people will say yes. And then you have 90. You keep getting better. You get rid of the people who are going to say no. And as you keep getting better, more people are going to say yes. And you're going to burn through that whole, those people that are going to say no. And it's going to be so much better for you. So just get through those people. Don't be scared of like door knocking or cold calling, whatever. Think about that number, 1 out of 100. Make 100 calls. One person will say yes because, it's very hard for a 0% conversion rate. So as long as you can speak, you should be able to get one person, right?
In this business, you got to have certain, characteristics that's going to, help you succeed. Right. You got to be relentless. You got to be resilient. You got to be persistent. You got to be self-motivated. You know, you have to be consistent because that's the only way you're going to be able to succeed. And again, it's that mindset, just being confident in yourself, you know, and just giving it your all. Literally, there's nothing that can hold you back but yourself in this business.
Right.
You know, a lot of people, like I said, just make excuses, and it's just, I don't know. It bothers me. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm a person who makes no excuses, and I just, like I said, I'm just always hungry. Like,
so let me ask you this: how much do you care about what other people have to say about your success?
All right, so I mean, look, everybody likes the likes. Everybody likes, you know, the rush of the social media, right? Because I wasn't on it before, so it's totally different now. It's nice to hear the compliments and it's nice to hear everything, but I'm not doing it for that, right? My main focus is making sure that I'm beating myself every quarter and I'm beating myself every year by GCI, by units closed. I'm helping my team grow and I'm seeing them succeed and make money and accomplish their goals. That's my main focus. Yeah, it's nice to hear the compliments. Don't get me wrong. Who wouldn't? Who doesn't like to be complimented? Everybody does. You know, when people are complimenting your success, and you are the perfect witness to this. I don't let that get to my head whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't carry myself around with an ego. I like to be as humble as possible because, like I said,
and quiet as possible. You're for everyone who doesn't know Kevin in real life, he's very quiet. You're loud right now, but you're very quiet. Like outside of this, like you're very calculated.
100%. And I'm glad you brought that up. It's just I'm always watching my surroundings and I'm watching people and I'm always studying people. You know, because when you're cold calling and you have to study that person over the phone.
Yeah.
Like you're reading that person, you're listening to their, you know, the tone of their voice, you're matching their energy, and you're listening carefully to get that appointment. So everything that somebody says to me, I'm watching their demeanor, I'm watching their, you know, how they talk, voice tone, and just how they carry themselves. Because body language will say everything to you. Somebody can say, yeah, I'm interested, and they just be slouched over, just looking around like, yeah, I just want this guy to shut up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that just it tells you all about a person.
And you get better at that over time, like 100%.
100%.
Like I can whenever I speak to a client for the first time, like you know me, like whenever I'm on the phones, I'm very like super high energy, like I'm very like upbeat or whatever. But I always I start off that way. However the conversation goes, like I mirror them, like exactly.
You have to.
That's just how I do it because if you're over here and they're over here, it just doesn't add up. But if like you bring them up a little bit, you come down a little bit, like match their energy, match their tone of voice, match, their questionnaire, like answer their questions the right way. If they want it done in a slow way, answer them slow. If they want it done in like very long answers that explain everything, or if they're in like in a crunch of time, like
they want
like
more
that.
details.
Right.
Other people are plain and simple. Just give me,
just give me the numbers or give me, all right, what do I need to do? I don't care about the education side.
Full background.
Right.
But no, I like to consider myself, just being very just humble. I'm just grateful for anything. Like I'm grateful for any business. Doesn't matter if it's $150,000 sale or a $1.5 million sale. Like I treat every client the same. And I treat that money coming in the same because not a lot of people have the opportunities that we have. Like we said this on episode 1 or 2. You and I, we have a skill. We could generate money anywhere we go. You could literally put me in another state where I don't know nothing about real estate, and I guarantee you that I'll know everything about real estate. Give me a month or two or even less, and I'll just, crush it. Because I feel like that New York, like that New York competitiveness in us.
Yeah, but it's real.
You can't find it anywhere. Yeah. All right. Shout out to Michelle Lasker. She's an agent who's here in New York, and then she moved out of state, and she's crushing it over there. And this is literally somebody that I was training side by side who wasn't, where they wanted to be. And I was coaching them, mentoring them, and slowly and surely she was getting there. And she was making.
That's Michelle. She hated me first time she met me. I remember that.
But she was getting there. She was doing a lot more business. I saw her confidence go through the roof, and I was just like, I'm so proud of her, And then she moved out of state. And then we talk every now and then. She's like, I'm crushing it here. Like, I'm making so much money here because people don't have the same hustle that I do. And I'm just outworking them. And I was just like, that's amazing, Yeah. And that's what I love the most. As much as the money is good, I love seeing the families just give you all the thanks in the world. Like, thank you for helping me, in this tough situation. At the end of the day, we're problem solvers.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do. We have to solve people's problems and help them get from point A to point Z.
Yeah. I've been working with this one client. She's an amazing, amazing person. Been working with her for over a year. In the beginning, like, the thing is, she really, really wanted a house. Like, she wanted a house more than, like, anything, right? We started off, she didn't qualify right away. We worked on credit. We worked on assets, saving money. I spoke to her multiple times a month, just checking in with her, because the thing is, she had a goal, and you get to the point where you stop thinking so much about the money.
Yeah.
And you just, like, in the beginning, I'm not going to lie, I used to think about the money, like, oh, I can make so much money. But, like, if you think about it in that aspect of it, you're going to burn out right away because the money just gets repetitive and you just, like, you know what I mean? Like,
and I tell people all the time, look, don't do it for the money, do it for the connections you're going to make, because the money's going to come.
And for the people.
Yeah, 100%. The people lives that you're helping and you're changing and you're getting them, helping them accomplish that American dream, the money's going to come. They're going to refer you.
Right.
Just do a good job, provide excellent service, and the referrals are going to come.
Right. Like, if it was like, I'm not going to lie, when I first started, if I was just thinking about it for the money side of it, there's no way I would be working with her now. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to wait over a year or whatever. Like, I want to do all the work it's not even a big deal. It's a small deal. But I don't care because, like, the thing is, it would make me so happy to help her get into that home that I would love to work with her. And I have been working with her for so long just to make sure that she gets to that point because that's what she really wants to do. So when you stop thinking about the money and think of just doing what you're supposed to do and just do it in a good way that, that helps people, the money's just going to follow along. You don't got to worry about the money. Like, it'll come.
You have to be resilient. You have to be persistent. Because how many times did you call me and I rejected you over and over again?
Too many times.
And then but you still called. You still called. And if you wouldn't have called and, harassed me that many times, we wouldn't be sitting here. We wouldn't have started, what we started here. And it's a beautiful thing because we have such amazing support and so many people behind us. It's like we started a community now.
Right.
We're giving out free knowledge to people and we're helping consumers, buyers, sellers, and other real estate professionals. We're making so many connections. I mean, the podcast has opened so many doors for us.
Right.
But if we would have had that mindset, like, I don't know if we should do this, let's not do it, who knows where we'd be right now.
It wasn't even a question of, like, when we first thought of doing this, when you called me for the first time and was like, oh, I have this idea, I want to do this with you, let's do it. And we were just brainstorming, we were just planning. Like, it wasn't a matter of, like, are we going to do it or not? Like, obviously, I was a little skeptical in the beginning. I was like, is this something we should allocate a lot of time towards? Because this is a lot of work. Like, it's not easy.
People don't understand, like, we're literally paying money to market and promote other guests that come on as well. Like,
right. All for the sake of educating. Like,
literally, that's all it is. Yeah. Like, I never once do it like, oh, yeah, I don't want to put this person on or whatever the case may be. It's just like, let's get the information out there. If this is going to help somebody and whoever hears the information that they're providing or we're providing is going to help them, that's all that matters.
We gain two things from the podcast. We gain helping other people. We gain, like, educating other people. And then we gain also, like, a network for us. Well, more than one thing, actually. More than two things. We gain a network for us. We get to meet new people and things like that, which is amazing. We have a guest come in. We get to speak to them, which is awesome. And then the third thing is we get to give back, too. Like, the charity game last year, like, that would have never happened without the podcast.
That's what I'm saying. It's amazing once you have an idea and you put it into action, how many doors could open for you.
Right.
Right? And like you said before, I'm extremely calculated. I'm an extremely calculated person. Like, the reason why I knew this was going to work is because you and I were literally from two different worlds, right? You grew up, and you went to college. I didn't go to college. Like, you have a finance background. I don't have any degrees. It's just different. Like, it's
we're two complete opposites.
Two different opposites. And I was like, all right, you're younger than me. I'm a little on the older side. I was like, this is going to work because you're going to touch that generation. I'm going to touch this generation. And it's going to come full circle.
Two different worlds, mortgage world, real estate world, like coming together to figure things out like this. So
yeah, and like we all go through struggles in life that just help us be who we are today. You know what I mean? And I think just not letting the success get to your head and just being humble is what's going to help you in this business. There's no reason to have an ego in this business.
Right.
And I mean, I've spoke to agents before where they're like, do you know how many years I've been in this business? It's like,
I've had somebody who literally said that to me when I told them the deal didn't work for that number. And they were just like, okay, I was in the lending space and I've been a realtor for this amount of time. He was like, pull it through. You'll figure it out. I was just like, no, it's not going to work. So I'm not going to put it through. And he was just like, okay, well, let me speak to a lender who can. go ahead. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, those things happen, but like, don't change yourself or change your morals or change your ethics for somebody else who just thinks they have an edge over you on something.
And in this business, I mean, look, there's gonna come in a point in your career where you have to work every lead. Not saying that you shouldn't work every lead, but some people you're not gonna click with personality wise. It's like, why are you gonna put yourself through that stress?
Right.
And they're gonna drag you, and you're gonna be burnt out. It's like, is that paycheck really worth it? You know, you could focus your energy on finding other leads, farming, prospecting, circle prospecting. I'm at the point of my career where I'm extremely thankful.
Yeah.
I see people that I'm like, I don't want to do business with this person, and I don't. But that's the beauty of having a team. It's like, all right, I can push it off to this person because their personalities click, and just sit back and still make money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This business is all about helping, problem solving, and personalities have to basically click.
We do sales, but sales is only a small portion of what we do.
Yeah.
It's really but sales is everywhere, obviously. But, it is what it is. But another thing that, I wanted to touch base on is time. Like, one thing that we don't have a lot of is time, right? We have 24 hours in the day. You start your day at 5, right? Like, you have set hours a day. You have a million things going on. I have a million things going on. And there's only a set amount of hours every single day. When you are, I'm 23, I'm turning 24 in a few months. A lot of people tell me, oh, you have all the time in the world to, make it. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, tomorrow's not guaranteed. Next year's not guaranteed. Like, the thing is, like people say that from a perspective of like, all right, like, you need time to get to the next level, which is 100% true. Like, you need time to get to where you want to be, because nothing happens overnight. But I want it now. Like, even though I know it's going to take time, you gotta hustle every single day and make it happen as quickly as possible. Like,
I'm glad you brought that up, and it's true. Look, tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you have to hustle. I'm an extremely impatient person. You ask my wife. Like, I have an addictive personality. When I'll do something, it's like I become obsessed, and I become obsessed with the results. And like, I want to see those results tomorrow.
Right.
So if I start doing these 100 crunches today, I better see that 6-pack tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm obsessed to the point where it's like, all right, 1 hour workout is not good enough. I'm putting in 2 hours. I'm doing more. You know what I mean? It's just like, I've always had that in me, and it's just like, not that I'm not content with everything that I have going on in my life, because I'm super grateful for all the success that I've had and continue to have, but nothing is guaranteed in this business, right? I don't get happy when I get a listing. I'm happy when it closes.
Right.
I'm
because nothing's
nothing
done
is
until it's
guaranteed. But
closed.
look, like what you said, tomorrow is not promised, bro. Like, before, you and I come from two different backgrounds. You know how many people I grew up with who are not here anymore?
Yeah.
That I thought would be here? You know what I mean? It's like, it's insane. It's
No, I do
crazy.
too. I have one of my two very close friends who, tragic situations that happened that they're not here today. And it's like those things that you've just seen. You just realize that nobody's
immortal.
promised. Yeah, nothing's
time-
promised for anybody.
If you can accomplish something today, do it today, because tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah.
I've lost so many people in my life, and I think that's what really plays into me just being quiet and just being calculated, just going through life experiences and things like that, bro. Like you said, you lost friends. I've lost one of my best friends in 2019, and I literally, saw his kids crying while I was carrying his casket, and that literally hit me like rocks. You know what I mean? That's like things you go through that you don't expect. And this is somebody that I used to, sleep over his house. He used to sleep at my house. We're literally like brothers, and I never thought that would happen.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm just like, I'm down to earth. I don't like let success get to my head, because I literally drive by the graveyard that he's, that we buried him in literally every other day. And it's just like, I'm just super thankful to be here. That's what you see on my stories. Like, my thing is, I want to motivate people. I want to get them out of that mindset, that negative mindset, and turn it into positivity. And I'm a very faith-based person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I give all my thanks to God. That's the only reason why I'm here today.
Yeah.
And just hustling, man. Like, not letting anything hold me back.
I think an important thing to touch base on also is, you do have time to get to your dream goal, but the thing is, time isn't promised for us, but it also isn't promised for the people who want to see us get to that point. So the thing is, like, how long do you need to get to that point where you want somebody to see you successful? Like, how long do they have? You don't know how long they have. You know what I mean? So you want to get to that point to make sure that the people who want to see you succeed actually see that. And, like, everything takes time, but you could do something about it. Like, you can grind and make that time, instead of 20 years, be 5 years, or 20 years, be 2 years. Like, it doesn't happen overnight, but you can go from like 0 to 100 in a year, 2 years.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
you could do that.
Do you know, like, when somebody said, "Oh, you got into the business too late," and I like that resonated in me, and it sank, it marinated in my mind for months, days, hours, minutes, and I was like, "Yo, what if he's right?" And that's how I was like, you know what, I'm gonna motivate myself to get where I want to be, and literally in 2 years, I was, at the top of the company, and I was just like, I'm not letting anything hold me back. You think people were happy about that? I was I got into business when I was 26, so I was 28. I was the youngest one at the top of my company.
Yeah.
Surrounded by people who were in the business about 10, 15, 20, 30 years. You think people like that? Yeah, some people,
Some people are happy for you, some people aren't.
Yeah, some people like, took you 2 years? This took me 10, 12, 15 years to be where I'm at now.
Yeah.
But it's all about that drive in you and how badly you want it, how badly you want to hustle, because that's the game changer in it all.
Yeah. But I think that's a good point. We just gotta just take every day, one day at a time. Like, one thing that I heard before, success is not owned, it's rented, and rent's due every single day. So work every single day like you need to get to that point. Don't work hard one day, next day go from 100 to 0. Like, don't just go full force one day and go like blank the next day. And sometimes, like, the thing is, you might not see results right away, back to what we were saying before, but just know that even if you don't see results right away, if you keep working how you're working, they'll come. Like, 100%, they'll come.
It's like working out in the gym. You go for a day, you go for 2 days, you go for 3 days. You're not seeing results right away.
Right.
But you put in those times, and you're sacrificing, and you're eating right, and you're working out. A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks go by, a month go by, 2 months go by. You're seeing the results.
Right.
So it's the same thing. You just have to be consistent and put in the time.
We sacrifice so much. Like, even though I'm 23, like, people might think, oh, what can I sacrifice? But the thing is, like, one thing I am sacrificing is my young years, right? Where, like, everyone's, like, I have a bunch of friends who go out partying, like, all the time, going to the city, doing this, that, whatever. Like, do I do that? Sometimes I'll do that, but I'm not doing that every week. Like, I'm sacrificing my time. Like, you see me in the office like 10 o'clock on a Friday night, like, just going through everything, Saturdays, Sundays, open houses, not stopping for weeks at a time, working every single day. Like, those things, like, you have to do that.
You have to.
Or else you're not going to get there, like, as quickly as you want to be. Like, that's the moral of the story. Like, just work hard, have a crazy mindset, and just remember that, like, whatever people want for you, like, if people want success for you, make sure that you prove them right. Like,
and it doesn't matter how people feel about you. You just have to be focused on yourself.
And if somebody says you can't do it, then screw them. Who cares? Like, don't listen to people who are telling you can't do it.
There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people who are envious and jealous of you. Bro, like, I guarantee you that if it was somebody else, they'll be clapping for them, but because it's you, they're not clapping for you because they don't want you to be there. They don't want you to have the success. They can't stomach the fact that, you're basically where they want to be.
Right.
And that's what it all comes down to, is stop comparing yourself to everybody else. I've never been a jealous person. Like, I've never been like, oh, yeah, well, I want to be where this person is, and I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, everybody moves at their own speed, and I've always been motivated, self-motivated to, like, all right, I'm going to get it. Right. I know I'm going to get it. Before I started winning the awards I was being awarded, before I started making the money that I was making, you could ask my wife. Like, I told her, like, babe, I'm going to start making this amount of money, and I'm going to win this, and I'm going to win this, and I'm going to win this. And she was like, I know. You're right. Because like I said, I'm just obsessive. Like, I want to see those results, and I'm not satisfied till I accomplish that goal.
Right.
But then it's hard having that mindset too, because when I accomplish that goal, as soon as I accomplish that goal, in that minute, in that very moment, I'm like, yeah, I'm top 5 right now, but I could be top 3.
And then you could be number 1.
Yeah. So it's like a gift and a curse.
But I think that's a good thing. But, like, the thing is, one thing that we do say before we end off is it's not for everybody.
No.
So it's like the thing is, like, find happiness in whatever you want to do, because there's no success without passion. Like, do what you're passionate about. Like, if you're really trying hard to do something that you really don't like to do, but, like, you know, we're talking about all this stuff and you're thinking like, all right, I really want to be number one. Real estate's not what you're passionate about, right? You're passionate about something else. You want to start your own business, or you want to be, instead of being a realtor, you want to be a lender. You want to be, from a lender, you want to be a realtor. Whatever you're passionate about, do that, because without the passion, you're going to burn out any second. And like, you're not going to be happy with what you do.
I'm glad you brought that up, because it's happiness in doing what you love to do and having a passion for this. And this is why we're so successful in this, you know, in this profession, because we love to do this. It's a passion of ours. It's not a job.
Right.
You know, I don't wake up and like, oh man, I got to
go to work. That
Never,
never crosses my mind.
Never. I get that adrenaline rush every time I speak to somebody on the phone, and I'm like, you know, I have to sell myself to them and gain their trust and gain their business. But the biggest thing for me is gaining their trust. Like, that to me means everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And yeah, just being relentless, you know? I think that's the major key.
But I think this is a good first episode about mindset for somebody who might be new, or what might, you know, just need some, you know, some motivation in like a changing field that we're going into right now. Like, we're going to the summer market, because things are changing every single day. So maybe this helps out.
Happiness is key. Like,
100%.
You have to be happy. Money is not everything. Money is not everything. Think about it. Like, how many people you hear about in the news, or you've seen in the past, like famous people with so much money who end up killing themselves?
Right.
And it's like, damn, but they had so much money. It just goes to show you that money is not everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? That person was truly not happy, and they had all that money. You know what I mean? Or people like go gambling and then they lose it all and they just kill themselves. It's like, you can't praise money. You know, money is not the end goal.
Right. It's just happiness, success.
It's a tool. It's a
I'm
freedom
happy
tool.
with what I do.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I do it. I'm very happy. Like,
Don't get me wrong, you need money,
100%.
but it brings freedom for you to do what you want to do. It shouldn't be the only reason why, you know, you're doing what you do.
And like, the end goal for me is like, yes, I love this, but like, you know, I also want to be able to enjoy life in other ways as well. And doing this, being in this field, allows you to do that so quickly that if you do it right, if you really get down to everything that we're talking about, like, you know, I'm not where I want to be in life yet. I'm sure you're gonna say the same thing.
Not.
Like, we have so many more things that we need to accomplish before we get to like our end goal. But this field helps you get there a lot quicker.
I just want to say before we end off is seeing your growth and knowing you for, you know, 2018, I believe we met. Seeing your growth, it just makes me happy, because like the connections you've made now and the success you're having and how the platform has, you know, changed business for both of us.
Yeah.
And just, I see you, you know, hustling harder and at the office till like 9:30, 10 and stuff like that. That's crazy.
No,
know?
it's the same thing for
I
you, because
applaud
I remember
you.
when you first started too. You were at like, you were nowhere near where you are now. But it's funny how we both started in like similar places, and then we're both like moving out into different places and stuff like that.
And again,
too.
just change your mindset. The biggest thing for me when I first got started was nobody wanted to work. Yo, we're both minorities, right?
Right.
Yeah, you have an ethnic last name. I have an ethnic last name. You know what I mean?
I used to have an ethnic first name.
Now you're Jimmy.
Yeah, now I'm Jimmy.
But that was the biggest thing that was holding me back. Again, we're from totally two different backgrounds. I get a lot of messages from people like, you know, from the stories that I put up. And I'm very transparent, you know, because I had to reinvent myself to get into this business. Have you seen pictures of me in the past?
Yeah, of course.
Like, I'm fully covered in tattoos. You know, I don't come from the best background. And, you know, I've had a crazy past. But you had to reinvent yourself. And I say that with saying that my mindset had to change in order for me to have the success that I'm having now. If I got into this business still being that person that I was before with that same mindset, I would not be successful in the business that I'm in now.
Yeah.
And I had to understand that. I had to come to terms with that. Look at Jay-Z, perfect example. From, you know, being Jay-Z in the past and then being him now is completely 360. He's a businessman now worth, what, over $1 billion?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Kanye West worth over $6 billion.
nobody wanted to give that man a chance. Did you see the documentary?
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to give him a chance.
I'm upset that I watched that documentary on Saturday, because I was so pumped. Like, right after it, I was like, It was crazy. Like, those things motivate me.
It's all mindset.
But also, just touching on that real quick, in terms of us both being minorities, like, what I've come to realize is, right, we are both minorities. It's good to know that, right? Like, you have to know yourself that maybe some people might not work with you because of that. Maybe there'll be some people who work with you because of your skin color or, like, the languages you speak or whatever the case may be. But don't ever let that be an excuse for anything that you do. Because once you start telling yourself, I can't do this because I'm Bengali, right? If I say, oh, I can't do this because I'm Bengali, you're going to give that excuse for everything. Like, just take that out of your head. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't say you can't do something because, like, you're Bengali or whatever. Because people, 100%, it's going to happen. People are not going to work with you because of, your skin color and stuff like that. It's going to happen.
I've had that happen to me over and over and over again.
Don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you.
You know what's crazy is that you and I are very different in the form of, backgrounds, but we're similar. We're both minorities. We both have Caucasian significant others. You know what I mean? But it's like we both don't let anything hold us back.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we connect so well, and that's why we vibe off each other so well, because our mindset is to the point where it's like nothing's gonna stop me.
Yeah, 100%.
Nothing's gonna stop you. And if you're a minority just like us, or even if you're not, and it's just nobody's giving you the opportunity, continue to work for it, continue to hustle, continue to just be persistent and not let anything hold you back. That's the only way you're gonna achieve success.
Agreed. All right. Well, if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will. Watch some Grant Cardone or something, or Gary Vee. Maybe he'll do a little bit better than us, but I hope that brings some nice motivation to your week this week whenever you watch the video. If you're watching this on Sunday, I hope you have the great rest of your week. Kevin does as well, right?
Yeah, reach out to us again if you need anything at all.
Yeah.
If you need financing, who should they
reach out to me? Finance by James on Instagram. Hit me up whenever. And, if you're ever just looking to have a conversation, if you ever need any advice, anything like that, speak to Kevin, speak to myself. We're always just here to help. We hope you have a great week. Don't forget to
Kevin sold my home on all platforms. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, reach out to me. Again, if you have any questions, I hope a lot of new agents, and I hope a lot of agents in general, mentor them and coach them. And I hop on Zooms with people that I've never met, and I give them advice because I just like to give free game. I like to help everybody and see everybody win. So reach out to us. We're here for you. We're here to help you.
And don't forget to
subscribe.
There you go. That's what I was going to say the first time. But all right, we will see you next time.